Oh my goodness. All right. So I watched a little bit of this Monique, My Name is Monique comedy Netflix special that she has, and it aired on April 4th of this year. Okay. So I was watching it. I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinions on this whole thing. I've seen a whole bunch of other people giving their reviews on it and how they felt. And I was like, well, let me see. I don't want to just be that person that's like, oh no, that person sucks over there, da 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 da, and whatnot. So I wanted to, have my own opinion. I want to form my own thoughts on this. Chad. Okay, we're gonna get into it. First off, we got to have a little bit of background on this, okay? Because people who just watching, like me, for example, I was like, okay, I remember a couple years ago, Monique was having this whole thing with Netflix, and something happened, don't really know, and then now she's back on Netflix. So obviously everything was well, right? So I got a little article here, and it says Netflix in 2017 started to court Monique for a comedy special during a time it was aggressively ramping up its stand-up comedy content, the complainant said. It said the negotiations, however, didn't get far because the Oscar-winning actress did not agree to what she considered a low opening offer of $500,000. So that's what she was offered to do her comedy special in 2017. And she was like, $500,000. I'm Monique, beesh. So it's like, no, you need to be paying me more. All right. It said for a 1 hour show that Netflix will have complete control over, including owning the copyright and retaining all audio only rights to the special. She protested it because she was saying it's discriminatory, and then she was comparing herself, to like other people that's happening. You had the Tiffany Haddishes, you had, your Dave Chappelle, your Cat Williams and all that kind of stuff. She's like, yo, if you gonna lowball me, what are you gonna do to my girl over here? And it was a whole bunch of stuff like that. I'm assuming it was an out of court settlement because there's no record of how much she got paid, but she said she got paid. All right. So I'm assuming maybe a couple mil that she got, maybe 1.5, maybe, I don't know. No one really knows how much she got, but that's what we have there. All right. So now this is like her comeback. Like, okay, you see me? Okay. Now I'm back on Netflix, boo. All right. Some people were speculating, okay, this is perhaps so they could try to recoup some money that they lost, had to give up to her from this whole lawsuit that took place. So why not just give her a special? Boom, we can make some money back. Okay. So this is when I'm going to start getting into my whole review on this My Name is Monique comedy special. All right. First off, it's 1 hour and 16 minutes long. Okay. So my man, right, I was like, okay, let's go and watch it, it'd be cool, just to see what's going on, since other people over here dogging on it. I don't want to be that person, right? He sits down, probably 30 seconds in, he was like, yo, I can't, and let me know how it goes. So I was like, okay, I'll let you know how it goes or whatever. So here's a few criticisms that I had. Then I'll get into some of the stories that she was talking about and went through and whatnot. Okay. So one of the things is the obscene amount of cursing that she did. Okay. I'm not one of these people that's like, oh no, you can't say the B word. You can't say the M word. You can't say this. You can't say that. I'm not one of those people that's doing all that. But man, it was MF this and this MF and this ninja and this B, and she went and this B and then that MF and S and O and I and O, and I was like, okay, can we get to the jokes? Can we tell some jokes, please? All this cussing. It wasn't just like, yeah, and then when I went over there and that MF did this, and I was like, girl, bye, and I can't. It wasn't like that. It was like, and then I went to the effing place, and then this MF did this effing thing to if, and I was like, okay, you're cursing too much. I can't even understand what you're trying to convey to me. All right, so that was one of the main things that bothered me. And when I was watching this, mind you, Chad, it's an hour 60 minutes. I think I got about, maybe got about 40 minutes in. Okay. So I didn't watch the whole thing. So I know you may be like, oh, this ain't a full review, whatever. I didn't watch the whole thing. And I was like, this is enough. So one thing I was doing when I was looking at all this, I was like, you know what? It reminds me of two formats. So this is a Netflix comedy special, stand-up comedy. You're supposed to be making people laugh. Hee ha ha, kiki, right? I was like, this could have been like a documentary, like we sit down And maybe there's some reenactment, or maybe not. That's perfectly fine. We don't need that. But I felt like this should have been, or maybe not a documentary, but maybe like a podcast. You know what I mean? Where we're just sitting down and it's like, yeah, this is the real me. Because in the beginning of this, she says, after this whole show is over, you're going to know me. You're going to know Monique. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna know you, right? So I'm like, okay, this could have been more of like a podcast. And the reason why, about 28 minutes in, actually, I looked at the time on there. I think I only chuckled 2 times. And it wasn't even like a, like a, or like a, it was like a, and it was only twice where I chuckled and I was like, oh, okay. That's it. That's all we're doing. No, we're not doing anything else. Okay. Well, it's almost 30 minutes in and I've chuckled twice. I'm gonna get into the stories that were told. Now, I don't know every single story because like I told you, I didn't watch it all, but I will get into some of the stories which were told. All right. So pretty much what she was talking about is how she was placed when she was younger into special education. And then one of the stories was how, the story was how she was placed into special education and what that meant and how that felt for what she felt like being in that entire situation. Another one was while in one of these special ed classes, there was a girl who had like one of those helmets on, and 2 other girls wanted to, try to beat her up and try to, mess with her or whatever. So Monique was like, no, we ain't having that. So essentially, Monique was saying how she befriended her, and she was saying like even to this day, she and I are still cool. Like she and I, know each other and all that kind of stuff, which I thought was really nice. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. I thought that was really cute. But then we have this whole thing where she tells a joke, and she was like, yeah, she pulls me to the bathroom. It was like 9th grade before 10th grade. Apparently they were going to like not see each other anymore for a while, like in a serious way, like, going to school anymore to each other. So she was saying how the girl went to the bathroom, she took the helmet off, and then she said, Monique. And she was, kind of making fun of, and comedy's comedy, anyone can get it. But she was kind of like making fun of, the fact that the girl's head couldn't, be stable like everybody else. And I was like, okay, the first time doing this, I was like, okay, that's kind of cute. And then the second and third and fourth, I was like, okay, this is kind of not funny anymore. I mean, it wasn't really even funny. It was just kind of there, And I was like, okay, well, this is getting borderline offensive. After a while, I was like, okay, we're beating a dead horse. I was like, okay, so it is what it is. I was like, okay, let's just move on to the next thing. Then she goes into telling another story, and then this was about a racist teacher. And she said that you had the teacher, and the teacher was like, okay, if I call your name, you go on one side. If I call your name, you go on the other side, right? So all the white kids was on one side, all the black kids was on the other side. And it was the whole thing of like or one, which was actually kind of funny, where she said that she raised her hand, and the racist teacher was like Monique, and she kept her hand up in the air like, that ain't my name, and I'm gonna stare at you because this ain't finna happen. And I thought that was kind of funny because I actually kind of experienced that before. My name isn't a difficult name at all to pronounce, but I would get Alejandro, Alejandra, Alexandra. I would get all types. Alexis. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, yo, that's not my name. My name has 10 letters in it, boo. If you can't say it, I mean, I'm not going to address you, and you will not be addressing me, so I kind of understood that, and that's why I was like, okay, that's pretty funny, but there was another thing where with the separating the white kids and then the black kids on one side. The white kids, they were able to color, paint, draw, do all this other stuff. Meanwhile, the black kids, he was like, well, we're going to teach you how to speak proper English. And it's like, what? But and even with all this, I was just like, this is some interesting stuff, but I'm not laughing, you know what I mean? I was just like, okay. And I like the fact that she did stand up for herself. I thought that was really nice to be able to witness from her. I thought that was really cool. Then she gets into a story about, I think it was her uncle, who's an extremely gay man, and I was like, okay, I don't remember why that was relevant, but it was there. I was like, okay. Apparently, now I didn't make it this far. Apparently, she was saying how she was married or is married, and she was telling her husband pretty much, I want to, and then he was like, okay, cool. But at the end of it, and that's pretty much it, from what I saw anyways, and the big key points at all in all of it. But I was just like, I mean, it was cute. It was informative. I did like it. I would have liked it better as a podcast. A podcast, hour and a half podcast, I would have enjoyed it more, because I was like, well, you're not really making me laugh I'm not laughing at anything that you're saying. So I'm like, okay. And it was kind of boring. I was like, okay. I mean, this isn't really, but like I said, that's just my opinion. If you are a huge Monique fan and you're like, nah, Monique, my girl, you will love this. Okay. All I'm gonna say is that when I was looking at the video, the recording, the show, the special, and I was looking in the audience, because they'll pan the camera to the audience here and there and whatnot. And I'm looking, and some people are just like, like, they're not like, ha ha ha, laughing. It was just like, so it's like, maybe your stuff ain't hidden. Maybe you're not getting them bangers. But I did want to bring about 2 reviews that I saw. And I went on IMDb for all this. And it is what it is, okay? So one says, title Pure Garbage. Says, I was hoping for a serious comeback after all the hoopla surrounding Monique's public outrage over unfair pay with Netflix. Maybe now she sees why she was offered $500,000. I don't think her special was worth that much. It was nonstop cussing from the onset, with every expletive you could imagine coming out her mouth, with no punchlines whatsoever. Me and my wife watched about 15 minutes and did not laugh once. It's sad, because I was hoping for so much more, but maybe Netflix simply let her put her nail in her own coffin by releasing this tragedy. She needs better material, and not filling every sentence with MF, ninjas, furs, bees. I don't know what the furs is. Oh, the MFers. Did not cut it. And I mean every sentence. When I tell you every sentence, and this is something that everybody has been talking about, is how everything, oh, this MF, this B, oh, this ninja, oh, B, and I'm like, God dang it. Do you not have any other vocabulary? Not to be mean, but not what I expected, but I still love her. I absolutely love Monique and want to see her win and continue to win. The cussing was a bit overkill. MF this and MF that, ninja this and ninja that. It was overdone to the point where I was focusing so much more on how much she was cussing than the actual punchlines. Some of the build up on the storytelling did not hit like it should have, which was a little disappointing. I really wanted her to nail this one, but it was quite there. I wish she had great content. I think she had great content, but the lengthy build up to a punchline that didn't actually land made the whole thing a little off. Still love her though. And that's the thing. I really enjoy her. So it's not like I'm like, oh no, I don't like her. I think she's good. I wish I would see more of her, but this wasn't it, boo. I'm sorry. I mean, you gotta prove, like, okay, I'm worth the $1 million or the $2 million, but I'm like, I'm not laughing at anything. And then the people and then you can even hear the audience. They weren't even like, doing all this. They were just like, it was at a point I was like, yo, are these like pity laughs or something? Because I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and it's like, not to be mean, but god dang it, it just wasn't all that it should have been. But that's my opinion, and I'm gonna stick with it.